Brad, tough year in 2022. Do we think there's more stress in the markets 2023?
Well, I think it's clear that companies that didn't have clear use cases and didn't have real utility around their project or real customers, that's where I think we saw a lot of trouble in 2022. The companies that have been focused on solving real problems, getting new customers, I think they're actually in a pretty healthy spot.
And in terms of 2023, a bit of a recovery for the industry or a rebuild period?
I'm optimistic. I'm always hesitant to make short-term predictions like that. I take a kind of a pretty long-term view on all things crypto.
Yeah.
So as I look out at, the long term, I'm very bullish, very optimistic. When does the crypto winter end? Generally, these have lasted 6 to 18 months, but maybe FTX was a reset and the time clock restarted. We'll see.
And in terms of regulation, you speak to a lot of regulators. On the regulatory front, what are we expecting for the industry? A little bit more clarity?
I think we're going to definitely see more clarity this year. What I don't think necessarily is we're going to see more clarity in the United States.
Yeah.
The U.S., partly because of how much so much of SBF was leaning in to the U.S., I think there's people who are going to take a scary, lean out in the U.S. But other countries around the world that I've met with here in Davos, very
international regulators, but they came up with a framework for, electric commerce. And that kind of put into place these notions of sort of simplicity, consistency, right? Sort of minimalist regulatory burdens that still protected. And again, nothing's perfect, but I think it was a framework that allowed these things to flourish and find their way, right? You could have easily back in 97 said, oh, come on, the only thing going on the internet is just bad stuff, right? It's theft and, just stuff that you want to hide from your kids and just nothing of value here, right? But we didn't do that. We did it smartly, and holy cow, trillions of dollars of value have been created. Just the whole world has been fundamentally changed, right? Again, lots of bad stuff.
Whoa. He said trillions of dollars have flowed through the internet since its birth, and it could have easily been shut down. But of course, they recognize innovation at its finest. And that internet has created trillions of dollars of value, Chris.
Right, it's theft and, just stuff that you want to hide from your kids and just.
What inspired you to start Ripple, and what does it really bring that Bitcoin doesn't?
Yeah. So obviously we love the idea of Bitcoin. We think Bitcoin has been successful, very successful in what it was designed to do. It was designed to be a global currency without the ability to be debased. So again, a currency without a counterparty. And that's great. So it's a great store of value. We think it's a great instrument that now does not rely on a central bank. So kind of mission accomplished. But there's a lot of also talk about kind of where this technology can go as far as being an internet for value, sort of a payments protocol. And what that really means is now for the first time, can you architect the exchange of value like we've been exchanging information? Kind of our view of the world is already connected through an information web. That's great. The last 20 years, that's what the world has figured out how to do. But when it comes to value exchange, that's really still pre-internet until now, until this double spend problem that Bitcoin was the first to solve was kind of figured out. You really could not have the exchange of value work like the exchange of information. And that's a huge cost to the world. So that if you can now have a value exchange, value web that works like our information web, layer that on top of the information web, you flatten finance, you tremendously save costs globally, but more importantly, you raise the amount of commerce that can happen. There's so many parts of the world, Africa and China and South America, that have access to the internet, the information web, but no ability to act on that information through
2024. I thought it said like this July coming up. So you got more time to get your stellar together. Just nothing but time. Nothing but time. Great. Get ready for XLM. By July 2024, skeptics will be left speechless. Just like Cycle 2. Look where XLM, 1,100 days to reach its peak. History will repeat itself. If XLM follows the same pattern as Cycle 1, we could witness a staggering 58,000% surge, driving XLM to $37. HSBC goes live with crypto future products, HSBC. But many may not recall, I don't think HSBC would have went live with digital assets if it wasn't for Ripple's Chris Larson. I'm going to show you guys. They didn't even have an innovation department before Chris Larson. Ripple CEO, Chris Larson. Chris Larson, Executive Chairman at Ripple. Opportunities, new trends.
HSBC is ready to do a live transaction using a technology that is still very young. It allows us to transact using digital assets on a decentralized platform, which means it's peer-to-peer. So this wasn't just about a one-off transaction that just HSBC did in a silo. This is something that we're building together with industry, with our collaborators, other banks, as well as corporates. Blockchain will give us the Internet of Transactions. The next few years, I think what we'll see is an expansion of both the functionality of the application, as well as its scope in terms of the participants that are connected to that network. We think that the horizon requires both of these things to occur in order to actually drive real value.
Today, every bank is digital, but they're digital islands in themselves. This platform really allows these islands to get bridged together into one. The second big benefit is...
Hold up. Hold up. Did you hear what he just said at HSBC? These are digital islands. That's the same thing as walled gardens, G-Man. Tell them. But these are digital islands in themselves, and we're creating interoperability. They wasn't even talking like that before Chris Larson got there.
Every bank is digital.
Today, every bank is digital.
But they're digital islands.
Walled gardens. Everybody, since the birth of the internet, every company and every fintech innovation has always been one man out for themselves. But now, since the invention of digital currency, peer-to-peer transactions, real-time payments, the internet needs a currency.
In themselves. This platform really allows these islands to get bridged together.
Bridged together. He's been talking to Chris.
Into one.
Tonight. HSBC Hong Kong introduces crypto futures. And this news just broke yesterday, June 27th. Today, HSBC Hong Kong introduces crypto futures. I'm here to tell you there would be no HSBC crypto anything if it wasn't for Ripple's Chris Larson. HSBC taps former Ripple advisor. HSBC taps former Ripple CEO for tech advisory board. HSBC has added former CEO DLT startup Ripple, CEO of distributed ledger startup Ripple, to its newly minted tech board. So basically, guys, they had to come to Chris Larson to understand digital currencies and this innovation. No fear.
Go, see you later, spaceship, racer, big bags like a banker, island sands, beach, blazer, all white, yacht like a ghost, cruising down the coast. I told my mom I bought a planet, she went crazy. Them crypto Ripple drops, would they pay me? Big splashes, getting wavy, big bags just like Santa. Your girl, she wanna date me, she chased me on the daily, staking interest on the daily. That's music to my ears like green ukuleles. The world full of crazy.
My yard full of daisies.
My yard full of daisies. My planet got me spacey. They asking if I'm ever coming back.
Tell them, Bax.
And I said maybe, but right now I'ma be go, see you later, spaceship, racer, big bags like a banker, island sands, beach, blazer, all white, yacht like a ghost, cruising down the coast, I'ma be ghost.